To the demonstration here, right? So I need to sort of like refresh this view. So back to our program. So I don't know how valuable this all is, so I'm just actually going to clean it up a little bit. How about this? So just to be sure that I can compile all this, let's see. Well, first of all, let me save this and try to build it. Right? Just go ahead, call compiler and linker and build the executable. See if I run into any problems with this. So, innocent-looking code, we never had trouble with those two. We just said, oh, okay, create point and you get X and Y. Unfortunately, with static variables, you have to find a place to initialize them, because this is just a declaration, but strangely, we have to find a place to initialize them. This is how this piece is going to look like. Control C. I'm copying those two, and I have my point.cpp implementation file, and initialization of static variables has to take place here. And this is how it's going to look like. You have to provide in your implementation file, in addition that you declare them here, you have to initialize them. Typically what we do, we have to prefix our members of our class by saying, okay, that's the name of the class. Because we're now outside of this class declaration, anything that we want to define for this class, and defining static data members is a requirement, we have to prefix those things with the scope of the name, which is the name of our class. All right, then we can initialize them. We can say, okay, let's set them equal to 0. Because again, if I say view, and actually, I think where's my view output? Interesting thing is that it's the linker that was unhappy. C++ just thought, okay, they will, when the compiler saw all this, compiler assumed that someplace those two will be initialized, because that's the requirement by the standard. So C++ tried to do its best to compile the code and created an object file for every CPP file. But then the linker that tried to look at the entire picture just realized, oh no one fulfilled the promise. The X origin and Y origin were never initialized. Static variables must be initialized. Another pain. So, and unfortunately, you can already sense that this code editor, which is smart and trying to show us the errors, is already unhappy about this part. You must get rid of static keyword in the initializer part. A lot of people criticize C++ for this, but that is just the way it goes. You should realize that this is most likely initialization of static data members of some class because of this look, the name of the variable and the name of the class in front of it. Okay, so this is now a complete version of this program. So now everyone should be happy with the creation of two static data variables. Again, I apologize for all the technicalities that come with it. By the way, set origin also was declared a static function. See, I lost static in the implementation file. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Just remember that that's the case. It gets marked everywhere here, here, and here in the implementation file that provides the meaningful definition now for all of it, loses the static keyword. Okay? And in fact, using it here creates a problem, a compiler error, or some other confusion. So just remember that. So hopefully if I save this, and if I switch to my main function, and if I now try to build it, right, it should build. So it builds. Okay, so here is the and again I forgot to do my timing here, but so here's an example. If I have all of this in place, so I have my main function, I call set origin, but I also have initialization of static data members of my class. If I now if I run this program, you know, I can set like breakpoint on this line and step through it. But here's an example of the fact that I can run the code before main. If I come up with init of some sort, init, let me do it this way, point init, some silly name, x origin, okay, and just no parameters. I could create inside my, so let me move it to the previous tab group so we can see all this. I could come up with another static function, and I could name it this, initialize x origin, and do something very similar to what I did over here. So I'll just copy and paste this part, right? So take this, paste it in, make sure that I'm not using any parameters, it's just function with no parameters, and then I can say x origin equals -1, whatever that means, okay? Just create another static function that says initialize x origin. And then when I do this, I actually, this is the initializer, so I make this call init x origin. Let me save everything.
And the name of the function.
What's that?
You need to change the name of the function.
Init x origin.
Set origin. Do you still have it as set origin?
Right here?
On the bottom of the void point set origin?
No, I'm trying to call the init one. I'm trying to call this brand new one. That's a brand new function. Yes, thank you, of course, yes. Right here, it has to be defined properly, and it also needs to be modified in terms of that it takes no parameters. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, I realize what you're trying to tell me. Yes, thank you. So it's still unhappy about something here. Void can. Oh, the function was declared void. So to make things simple, how about this? I will simply say return -1, and over here I change it to int, so it returns an integer. Okay. All right. This silly little demonstration, hopefully I'll be able to catch the recording. But if I pass, you know what? Let me actually make sure I save it, because I know how this timing can be.